guys, welcome to the tackle room. In the tackle room I'm going to be taking you through little hints and tips to whether it be set things up or look after bait. After the last feature I got asked how I look after my bloodworm joker, so what I'm going to do today is just show you how I do it. By no means am I the be all and end all when it comes to bloodworm joker. Over the years I've just picked up little hints and tricks to help me, and what works for me, so I do it this way. What I'm going to show you now is the kit and equipment we need to look after the joker. Right then, so the kit and equipment we need to look after our joker itself. The first thing we're going to need is an aquarium net. It needs to be fine mesh so the joker can't go through the holes. The next thing we're going to need is a bowl with some water. The next thing we're going to need is our joker itself, and then some spare newspaper to put the joker when it's had a drink, and then somewhere to pour the water, so down the drain, outside, wherever. And that's all you need to look after your joker. Right, and so the first part is just get your bowl of water, place it on somewhere stable so you know it's not going to fall over. Then all we're going to do now is take your joker and place it into the water. I've already been looking after this joker, so my newspaper is fairly clean. However, depending on who you get your bait from or how long you keep it, your newspaper, sometimes the joker will stick to it depending on how they've looked after it before you. So if you want, you can take a pint tub, just fill it up with water, place your newspaper above the water and just pour the water down the newspaper, and all your joker will fall into the water. And that's all you need to do. Once your joker is in the water, just place your hand in and just give it a swirl round. What should happen is the water should turn grey from all the dirt and grime on the joker and the bits of blood from the ones that have died. As you can see, this is fairly clean, this joker is, but it's still going grey and murky. It should get to the point where the joker settles on the bottom of the tub and you shouldn't be able to see the joker. And just give it a couple of minutes to settle down. Right, as you can see now, the water has gone dark and murky and you can't see the joker on the bottom of the tub. So that tells me the joker did need cleaning off. So all we're going to do is leave that for about 5 minutes, let the joker settle down, and then we'll pour this dirty water away. Right, and we've left our joker to settle now. The water's grey and murky, so all we're going to do is get rid of the old water. So as you can see, I've got a tub here with my aquarium net on it. All we're going to do is place it so we know it's not going to fall into the tub, and then we're just going to get our joker and slowly start pouring the water into the net. Until your joker starts going in. As you can see, there's still some grey clay and stuff in there from where the joker's still dirty. Just give it a nice little squeeze. As you can see, the water's coming out the bottom. Just keep squeezing. Until no more water comes out. There we go. We'll place that to one side now, and then get rid of our dirty water. Right, so we've cleaned our joker off once, we've drained all the water out, got our joker now in the aquarium net, and then you need to put fresh water back into your bowl. Once you've got fresh water in there, all we're going to do is take our joker and place it back into the water, repeating the process of what we've just gone through. Give your joker another wash round. And just leave it settle for a few minutes again. Right, as you can see, we'll just repeat the process now for as long as it takes to get that water clean or cleanish. So we went to the first one was a dark grey, the second one was slightly lighter. This time is the third time. Normally it takes around 4 to 5 times of just washing it through. Just take your time, there's no rush. All we're going to do is place it back in the water again. And just wash it off. Leave it to settle. And that's the standard I'd be happy with. So I can see the joker at the bottom. The first and the second time the water was totally grey and we couldn't see any joker at all once it settled down. So at this stage now I'd be happy. So what I'm going to do now is I'd leave my joker to have a drink for maybe 5 hours. Once it's had a drink, so I'll just explain to you quickly. Joker lives in water, in sewage systems and places like that. However, Bloodworm lives in pools, so still waters. So that's the difference between Bloodworm and Joker. So the Joker, we're just going to leave it to have a drink in its natural source, which is water, for 4 to 5 hours, then we'll come back to it. Right, and so I've left my Joker for 4 hours. I've come back to it and the water's gone slightly murky. However, I'm happy that that Joker now has had a drink and it's fresh, because the water, even though it's slightly murky, you're not going to get away from that. So all we're going to do now is take the Joker out of the water and put it back in our newspaper, ready for the next time we go fishing. So the last thing we're going to do is take our Joker out of the water into our aquarium net. Nice and steady, make sure it all goes in. Just going to make sure we get all the bits of Joker out of the green tub. Give it a good squeeze this time. We don't want no... Well, you're not going to get it totally dry, but we want to try and get as much water as we can out of it. And I'm happy now that there's no water left in that Joker. It will be damp, but you do want it damp. So what we're going to do now is put it into our newspaper. Right then, the final step. We've got our Joker now clean and in our aquarium net. All we're going to do is take 3 pieces of newspaper, lie them out flatly. Take your Joker, tip it bang in the middle of the newspaper. Give it a flick. Get all the Joker off our net. Place your net away. So we've got a big blob of Joker. All we're going to do is distribute it down the centre of the newspaper. Like that. That is your Joker, now ready to go fishing with. Simply lovely. The way we fold it up in the newspaper, all you're going to do is take one end, fold it to the end of the Joker, take the other end, push that inside, trying to escape. Take the other end, fold that over. Take both ends of your newspaper, flip it over, then fold the corners in. Just like that. That is your joker, now ready to go on the garage floor and ready to go fishing with. I would be happy now to leave this joker for 2 to 3 days without touching it. However, I try and do this every day. If I've got time, I try and make sure I give my joker a drink every single day to keep it as fresh as I can. That way it'll last me for up to a month sometimes. And that is how you look after your joker. Right guys, I hope that's helped you and answered the questions that I've been asked after we've done our Bloodworm joker feature on the commercials. So what we've gone through is, you've got your joker, simply go through the process of putting it in your net, wash it off, soak off the water. Once you're happy that water's clean, put it in your newspaper, wrap it up properly, place it in, if you haven't got a garage, place it on a floor in a cold place, not too cold, you don't want it freezing, but keep it nice and dry, the newspaper, and just make sure it's cool. The joker's still damp when we put it in the newspaper, so it'll get the newspaper nice and moist, and it'll keep itself nice and moist and active. Just stay on top of your joker, look after it, and the joker will look after you when you're fishing. What we're going to go through next is how to look after your bloodworm. Right guys, what I'm going to take you through now quickly is how I look after my bloodworm. It's so simple, it's untrue. So, first of all, we've got our tray of bloodworm. This is some I've scraped myself. I went out scraping about 4 weeks ago, and I've just been running it through a riddle, maybe once every couple of days, and then, as you can see in the tray, there's a lot of dead in there. That's just because I've been taking what I need out of it at a time, just riddling it off and going fishing. So all we're going to do is take our bloodworm and get rid of the water that it's been living in. Yeah. So what we've got here, we've got our bowl. All we're going to simply do is pour the water and the bloodworm into the aquarium net. Empty it all out. Simply pop it straight onto your riddle. We separate the bloodworm over the riddle. And then you just leave that now for maybe 3 or 4 hours and then come back to it. Hopefully most of this is going to go through. As I said earlier, this is 4 weeks old. I'm just trying to show you how long you can look after it for. It's not in the best of nick, but it's toughened up and it's absolutely great for the hook. A quick little tip that we can do is take the riddle, lift it out the water slightly and atomise it. So I'll just grab my atomiser now and then we'll show you what that'll do to the bloodworm itself. So what we've got here, we've got a little spray bottle, some clean water in. All we're going to do is take our riddle, lift it slightly out the water and give the bloodworm a quick spray. As you can see, the bloodworm starts going mental. All we're going to do then is drop it back in the water, and that just encourages the bloodworm to go through the riddle. And so as you can see, a lot of the bloodworm, we've been here about 60 seconds and a lot of the bloodworm has gone through the riddle, and if I am rushed for time, I'll just keep repeating the process of lifting the riddle out of the water, give it a spray, lower it back in, and that'll encourage the bloodworm to go through the riddle. As I was saying, if this was really fresh bait, then it'd go straight through. But I'm not going to go out till next week, so I'll leave this now. I'll hang on to this as emergency bait, and then when I go out next week scraping, I'll probably feed this stuff, to be honest. So yeah, we'll leave that now for sometimes 4 hours, but I reckon this will be done in probably another half an hour. So I'll come back in half an hour and see where we're at. Right, and so we've come back to it. We've left it about 30 minutes, and as you can see, there's probably 200 dead bloodworm on the riddle. There's still some alive on there, but they're clearly dying. So what we're going to do is take these away, and then what we should be left with is some nice clean bloodworm underneath. So in this water now, this is just the bloodworm that's gone through the riddle, and I'd be happy to use this now as hookers. So what I'm going to do is just drain the water out of this bucket, and then I'll show you what it looks like without the water in. Right, and so we've come back to it. We've left it about 30 minutes, and as you can see, there's probably 200 dead bloodworm on the riddle. There's still some alive on there, but they're clearly dying. So what we're going to do is take these away, and then what we should be left with is some nice clean bloodworm underneath. So in this water now, this is just the bloodworm that's gone through the riddle, and I'd be happy to use this now as hookers. So what I'm going to do is just drain the water out of this bucket, and then I'll show you what it looks like without the water in. Right, so what we've done now, we've drained all that water off from underneath the riddle, and we've got our bloodworm now in our aquarium net. All we're going to do is get maybe 2 centimetres of water deep in your bowl, and just place the bloodworm into that clean water. Just dip your net in to make sure all the bloodworm's off it. What we're left with now, 99% of them bloodworm should be alive. Give it a quick spray. As you can see, that looks 50 times better than that old bait that was left in the bucket earlier, or in the bait tub. And I'd be happy now. I'd just add maybe a slightly more bit of water into this, and I'd place this on the garage floor. Because we're in winter, it's nice and cold. This is going to stay at a nice steady temperature. If it was maybe a bit warmer, then we'd put it in the fridge. However, I don't want to put it in the fridge because it cools it down too much, and the bloodworm ends up straightening out like ironing boards, and it takes approximately a day of it to come back round and be nice and active like it is now. So just change the water every day, and then that bloodworm should keep up to a month. I hope that's been good information for you all, and any more questions I'll try and answer them with videos. Cheers guys, see you later.